Bryan Kohberger has officially been sentenced for the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students. With this sentencing being complete, the court has lifted the gag order that has kept most of the details of this case sealed. And what's coming out in these documents is pretty shocking. I mean, some of this information is just jarring. I did a 3-hour live stream over on my true crime channel, Fatal Files with Elle, where we went over the first zip file. I read through the reports from the officers that were on the scene on that morning, November 13th. We went over autopsy reports. So if you guys want to go check that out, please go check it out. It's over my true crime channel, Fatal Files with Elle. Since getting off that live, I've continued to sift through the documents, and I came across something else that really caught my attention. And it was a tip from a woman who says she matched with Bryan Kohberger on Tinder just weeks before the murders. According to the report, a tip came in from a woman they referred to as C. She says she joined Tinder October 2022, but wasn't having much locally matching with anybody, so she paid for the premium feature that allowed her to change her location. And that's when she said she matched with Bryan Kohberger. She said they started chatting, and Bryan told her that he was a criminology student at Washington State University. They even discussed possibly meeting up when Bryan was back in on his Christmas break. At some point, she said their conversations took a dark turn where they started talking about horror movies and even death. She says she told Bryan that she liked Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween, and he asked her what she thought would be the worst possible way to die. When she told Bryan by a knife, he reportedly asked her if she meant like a K-bar knife. Now, if you're familiar with the case, you know exactly what a K-bar knife is. It is a military-grade knife and the murder weapon that he used while taking the lives of Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and Madison. The lady said that the unsettling conversation made her uncomfortable, so she did end up cutting off communication with Bryan. She said when he was arrested, she immediately recognized him and remembered their conversation, specifically about death and the K-bar. She said she tried to contact the tip line, but nobody returned her call. Officials were not able to confirm whether she ever did. She no longer had access to her Tinder account, which made confirming the interaction even more difficult. Now, I guess the thing we have to ask ourselves is if we even believe this. Because when things like this happen, you have people just coming out of the woodworks claiming they met with the person on a dating app, or they met up with them for casual sex, just like the Chris Watts case. So just because this lady is saying this doesn't mean that it is actually true, but if it is true, that is very eerie to learn that just weeks before he took the lives of Kaylee, Xana, Madison, and Ethan, he was talking to someone asking them what they felt would be the worst way to die.